Number 3, Derek Gunn, Barrett, and Rob Ellis. I almost said Barrett. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. He's here in spirit. We miss you, Barrett. Yeah, so a lot to dig into with the NFL. Let's get this one out of the way. It's sad, and condolences go out to the family. But Ray Lewis III, who was 28 years old, the son of Ray Lewis, who we all know, passed away. We don't know the cause, but tough, man, tough.
We've talked about this before. I don't ever want to wake up and get a call that one of my kids is deceased. That would just destroy me. And I don't know. I'm assuming they were close, but you wake up and find out that your son, especially, we don't know what the cause of death was.
Yeah.
But you find out that one of your kids is gone. Man, that's gut wrenching, man. I know what it would do to me.
No.
And so, prayers going up to the Ray Lewis family. I know it's a devastating time, man. But things like this bring families closer together, and just lean on each other during this time, because it's
tough, very, very tough. All right, so just to keep it moving here, and obviously, kind of segueing out to the fun and games here. Certainly, it doesn't compare to what he went through or what he's going through. But Derek, it's one of those stories that he keeps popping up for every wrong reason. And if you didn't know, Antonio Brown was the owner and was kind of running an arena league team.
Yeah.
So anyway, the league itself has kicked them out of the arena league.
Yeah.
The team that he was running. It was a team that his father, Eddie Brown, played for back in the day. For failure to pay fees or fines, guys weren't getting their paychecks. Apparently, it was just a total disaster. Like Antonio Brown kept promising he was going to play for the team, and it never came to fruition. And it was just a mess. Like everything he touches, it was a mess.
He also made some comments about the league that didn't sit well, and I believe the comments he made was the final straw to this whole thing. But to show you how discombobulated this thing was, last week their team dropped a game to he owned the Albany team,
right? And
they dropped the game to Orlando and dropped them to 1-6 on the season. He cuts both quarterbacks. You potentially had another game coming up this week. You have no quarterbacks.
Oh my God!
I'm like, dude, and I've heard so many former players say that here's a young man who needs help, who's crying out for help, who needs help. Right. And a lot of people wonder if it's the brain trauma that he endured in his career. But yet he hasn't either sought the help, or nobody's really just grabbed him, embraced him, and forced him to get the help that he needs. But you're right. Everything that he touches, Rob, lately has been a disaster.
It makes me wonder, like, what were the checks and balances?
I hope he focuses on himself.
Yeah. What were the checks and balances to allow him to have ownership in that league, other than he promised to cut big checks? I do wonder about that too.
Yeah.
With his history.
Yeah.
Are you really surprised at this kind of outcome? I don't think anybody is, frankly. And I'm with you, Derek. None of us.
You have to wonder.
Yeah.
You have to wonder also, did he have any other financial backing with him in this thing? Is he cutting these checks on just NFL money, endorsement money he made? Because that money is going to run out real quick in a situation like this. If you're not generating income, how can you sustain it?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. The answer is I'm not sure. I'm not sure what all the inner workings were with him. But again, another bad story from Antonio Brown. This feels like a trend, and it feels like we talk about a different running back every single day who isn't happy with, either their deal or just kind of the league and the way the running backs are treated. But this one's a little different. Like J.K. Dobbins of the Ravens is unhappy. He's unhappy with the organization. He's let it be known. But Derek, you made a great point when we were talking about this earlier on our pre-show meeting. He doesn't. He's not in the same category as Jonathan Taylor and some of these other guys who have been Austin Eckler, who have been studs. He's missed a lot of time with injuries.
He had a severe knee injury and it cost him the entire 2021 season. He's only played 25 games in his career. He's missed 27 games. The last year of his rookie deal this year, he's scheduled to make $1.391 million. If I'm the organization, the Ravens organization, it's a wait and see. And I understand you're frustrated, but let's negotiate. Let's talk after the season. You got to show me that you can get through this season. We cannot invest big money in you. You're a great young running back. You have a lot of potential. But the last 2 seasons in particular, and even though he averaged almost over 5.5 yards or something like that last year, he still had not fully come back from that devastating knee injury in 2021. I can't make an investment like that. As a businessman, I can't make a speculative investment like that. I need to see the product stay on the field. If you can stay on the field 17 games and hopefully beyond that we get to the playoffs, we're talking about other financial ballpark. But right now, I'm sorry, but you're in a wait and see holding pattern for me.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said earlier, I think a lot of these running backs have a legitimate beef. Like I think they have every right to feel the way that they feel. They get beat up, they're underpaid, and they produce for their team. I think he has every right to feel that. Most of them have every right to feel this way. J.K. Dobbins, I don't have any sympathy for it. Show it, go out there and have a great year, and maybe either with Baltimore or somebody else, you get a Miles Sanders kind of contract. You know what's crazy, Derek? The more you see this, boy, did Sanders get a good deal in Carolina. Really did. I mean, better than most of these other backs.
$22 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. J.K. Dobbins also had the nerve to skip the mandatory minicamp. Now, again, you miss 16,000 plus the first day, and it jumps up to, we say, 30-something thousand the second day?
Yeah, then 49, and et cetera. Yep.
So you basically not even making $2 million, and after taxes, you're not even making $1 million, and you just gave a big chunk of your future earnings on principle? Yeah. Whoever's advising, you got to get a new advisor, dude.
Yeah. Or you better start listening to your advisor if you're not.
Yes.
If they're trying to tell you. Crazy. All right. A couple things, items out of Chicago. One, it appears that Justin Fields and DJ Moore, who came over in the trade, are like in sync, are on point with each other already, and they could be a nice little combination. DJ Moore is very underrated, so that doesn't surprise me. I think he'll be a great piece for Justin Fields.
If I was Justin Fields, soon it was announced that the trade went down, I'm on the phone with DJ Moore. Hey, can I fly you into Chicago? I will take you to the best steakhouse in Chicago. If you need to, you can stay at my house for as long as you want until you find a place to stay that you're comfortable with. I'll introduce you to every teammate you want to meet on this team. I am doing everything I can to roll out the red carpet for my new wide receiver because he didn't have a favorite target last year. And now all of a sudden he's got one. You do everything you can to expedite that bond soon as you can. And I as much as I'm not a fan of Chicago because, the same division as Green Bay, I'm looking forward to seeing these two play together, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I am too. Look, Justin Fields is one of those guys I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on, period. I just want to see what he looks like with some help. And I don't think he had a lot of help last year. So he's going to be interesting. Now, one of the other receivers that they were going to be counting on in a big way there is Chase Claypool, who came over mid-season in a trade from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And it turns out there are multiple reports that the Bears are unhappy with him and don't feel he's very self-motivated, AKA he's not putting the work in. And a lot of this stuff, Derek, was being thrown around last year in Pittsburgh. And it got to the point apparently where Mike Tomlin was like, get him out of here because this ain't working. This ain't the way we do things here. So Chase Claypool better wake up or else it'll be over soon. Trust me.
Chase Claypool is a very exceptional receiving talent. All the gifts you need to be one of the good ones in the National Football League. But whatever inner struggle he's going through, lack of motivation, that's the wrong fraternity to do that in. Because football players are the mindset, if I'm putting in the work. You better be putting in the work, because if you're not, that means you're holding this back, coaching staff and your teammate, and it's also teammates, and it's also the best way to end up playing in the CFL or the Arena Football League. You keep doing that. Plain and simple.
Well said. And you haven't built up enough equity to be this diva-ish if this is what's going on. Yes, cachet. You are not there, my friend. So you need to get your act together real quick. Yeah, Chase Claypool, as Eagles realist would say. Yeah, it's it ain't gonna work much longer. Trust me when I tell you that. All right, beyond that, couple other odds and ends. I don't know if folks have had the opportunity to see this Kansas City Chiefs ring, the championship ring. And I know it hurts Eagles fans to even think about it, but this thing is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Even by like championship ring standards, which are totally over the top. This one is even wilder, Derek.
Dude, 613 diamonds. 609 diamonds are round ones. 4 are marquee diamonds. 16 rubies in the ring that signify the 16 division titles they've won historically. 50 diamonds around the portion of the team logo that represents the 50th anniversary of the team. These things get more elaborate, Rob, every year.
Yep.
Okay. Think about how many rings they had to produce. 60-something rings for players, another 20-something for coaches, plus the front office personnel.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes like the secretary. You know, a lot of teams give it secretaries, the digital team. All these,
they try to take care of as many employees as they can. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And the company that did it, Justin's, they did my ring when I came out of high school. I didn't even know they were still in business. Dude, all they have to do is do rings every year. They don't have to do anything else. Do Super Bowl rings every year.
Yeah. I think my
ring with 613 diamonds in it.
Well, I think my favorite part is there's that like retractable, you can spin off, I guess, the front part of it. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. You can put a little drink in there if you need to. Put a little drink over. Yeah. Or put some of your favorite elixir in there, you know?
Oh, my God. It's unbelievable, man.
Where do you wear a ring like that to? Where?
I think the only thing you wear it to like team functions, like if there's some kind of anniversary, you're celebrating that team. If you're going to a wedding, I guess. But I don't know. Like, how could you I'd be scared to death. It would fall off my finger and I'd lose the thing,
I'd be afraid diamonds start popping.
Yeah.
I'm looking at oh, come on, man. Eagles fans said that ring is uglier than Sam could say. Come on, man.
Ouch.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, it's tough.
Duck Wynn says the compartments for cocaine. You're right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Couple other things.
Politically correct, Rob. He ain't saying nothing.
Hey, look, to the victors go the spoils, I guess. Whatever you want to do with your ring, you knock yourself out. It's like they all drink out of the Stanley Cup. Why not? Why not put a little drink in your ring compartment or whatever it's called?
Explain that to me. Explain that to me, Rob, because every time I see this, I'm thinking, I ain't drinking behind these. What is this tradition about everybody sharing a sip from the same Stanley Cup? Dude, I'm not drinking behind 20-something people, man. Seriously.
So here's what I like. A couple things. I agree with you. I don't want to be drinking out of that thing after 30 other people did. No, thank you. I agree. What I like is the really cool tradition they do with the cup is each and every player gets to take it back to their hometown. So for a lot of these guys, you go to your little small town and, Flin Flon in Canada or whatever. And I think that's really, really cool. Like you get to go to, your house or your buddy's house back where you grew up or the local bar or whatever. And everybody gets to sort of like, oh my God. So that's cool. I love that. But I'm with you. Like No, thank you. If you're handing me the thing filled up with champagne after the whole rest of the team was swigging out of it, I'm good. I'm good on that one.
Here's the thing, and we see the shots all the time. Not only are players in locker rooms, fizzing up the champagne, but they're also eating food as well. Man, somebody washed it in that cup, man. I'm not drinking.
Oh.
You might drink a chunk.
Hey,
Look.
speaking of it, did you see the Nuggets yesterday? Oh my God. They were freaking blasted. They were, Mike Malone was hammered. I mean, they all were. It was like the Eagles parade. Granted, they all do it, but man, those guys were getting after it hard.
Dude, when you've never won, when you're the first group of guys to win a championship for your franchise, it's okay to let your hair down a little bit, man, but they were off the charts, dude. They were gone. They were zooted. They were all zooted. They were gone, dude. And that's all right. They're covering hangovers today, headaches today. They're let them have that moment.
Well, so Jokic was pretty funny. He was like, look, I know what I said about the parade. I'm happy I'm here now. Whatever. They're everybody going crazy. So it was pretty funny to watch. That's for sure. All right. You ready to do a little power ranking action, Gunner?
Oh, wait.
So what we're doing, you get your notes ready. So what we're doing is our top 10 as we sit here right now on June 16th, we do our top 10 NFL team power ranking. Obviously, this could change when we get to training camp, and it will change. But as we sit here right now with what the teams did in the offseason, projecting ahead, these are our top 10. So you want me to go first? I'll go first.
You go first.
All right, here we go. Number 10, the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants. I have in there at 10. I think they're going to look. I think it's going to be a challenge for them this year. Don't get me wrong, but I do believe in Brian Dable. I do believe that they're headed in the right direction, and I think they made some pretty good moves in the offseason to upgrade. And there's a couple teams I debate it right around that spot, but I'm gonna go Giants right there. All right, I'll take them at number 10. Number 9, I go Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is all contingent on Lamar staying healthy. Okay, Lamar doesn't stay healthy, they're in the same boat, and it won't matter. Okay, but he's paid, he's happy. We'll see if he can stay healthy. I put them at number 9. Number 8, I go Jacksonville. I liked what I saw. I like what they did in the offseason. I like the addition of Calvin Ridley. I believe in Doug. I think, the job that he did last year to get them turned around from where they were under Urban Meyer and that whole messy year was remarkable. Now, with him already in place, the players knowing what the expectations are, Trevor Lawrence taking that leap from year 2 to year 3. And they have some playmakers on defense. I like Jacksonville. I like the running game too. 7, I go Dolphins. And again, we know what this is all about every time you bring them up. But at least right now, with the talent on both sides of the ball, and I think a really smart offensive mind calling the shots and Mike McDaniel, I'm going to put them at 7. They go way out of the top 10 if Tua goes down, but they're at 7 right now. I go Cowboys at 6, Dallas at 6. Again, super talented, but you're talking about Dak Prescott, who finished the year in a bad way, who finished the year with a lot of pick sixes. And I also don't like or trust Mike McCarthy a little bit. I don't believe in Mike McCarthy at all. I don't believe in him in big spots. I think he and Dak come up small in big spots. So I put them at 6 because of their talent. I put Buffalo at 5. Buffalo, the stuff with Diggs is weird. And it's maybe a little concerning, but they still are a team with a lot of ability and have gotten close bunch of years here. And I think they all feel, that sort of pull, like this is the year, guys. There's no more excuses. There's no more getting close. And Josh Allen has said numerous times on the record, I did a bad job and I got too careless with the football. All right. So you've said it, show me now. So I have them at 5. 49ers at 4. because I don't trust what quarterback is going to look like, especially early in the season. If this was based on talent, I might have him at number 2. But I don't know about the quarterback thing right now. I don't really know about Purdy long-term. I don't know about Trey Lance long-term or Sam Darnold long-term, but everything else is good there. Bengals at 3. Bengals healthy with all 3 wideouts at Burrow's disposal, and a defense that's a little bit underrated, and a coach who I think is underrated. I like Cincinnati a lot. I really do. I believe in them as a team. So I have them at number 3. I have the Eagles at 2 for all the reasons we generally talk about, but there's just too much there offensively with that quarterback, with this coach who seems to get them prepared every week and up to play every single week. The only thing I worry about a little bit is the defense and what that's going to look like with some of the new players. But put the Eagles at number 2. I put the Chiefs at number 1. I think you can guess why. With that quarterback and that coach, if they get if they get Chris Jones straightened out, defense is going to be good enough, maybe not great, but a lot of those young players they counted on defense last year, are going to be ready to play this year. So I put them at number 1. So I go Chiefs, Eagles, Bengals, 49ers, Bills, Cowboys, Dolphins, Jaguars, Ravens, Giants. That's who I have as my top 10 power rankings, D-Gun.
Not a bad list there. You and I were exactly the same on 3 of 10 choices.
Okay.
My other choices are Miami at number 10, because everything revolves around Tua.
Okay.
There's no question he has all the weapons in the world to throw to. They have a good defense. You just got to keep Tua upright and breathing, because if he falls by the wayside, that product is going to suffer. But I think as we sit here right now, Miami is a legitimate playoff team, no question about it. Number 9 for me is Jacksonville. I love the direction Doug Peterson has taken his team. In his first year, he gets them to the playoffs after that disaster of a season under Urban Myers. I look at how much better Trevor Lawrence was under the tutelage of Doug Peterson and his staff compared to what he was in his rookie year. Jacksonville has great weapons on offense, a young, hungry defense. I think they're going to be knocking on the door. Number 8 is Detroit. I can't keep bragging about Detroit and not include them on a list like this. I think Detroit is going to be a much better team. They came strong in the latter part of the season. I think that carries over into this part of the season. Number 7 for me is Dallas, because of everything you just said. I'm not a big fan of Mike McCarthy, but with the additions of Brandon Cook on one side and Stephon Gilmore on the side, I think it makes Dallas a much better team if those people stay healthy. It definitely opens up their passing game for CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup. So I put Dallas at 7. Number 6, I put the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer with those weapons, and the Jets, all they needed was a quarterback. You talk about a complete team, and all they need is a quarterback. They don't just go out and get a rookie or a Mr. Irrelevant. They go out and get a future Hall of Famer who's a big diva but can still sling it, and still has one of the strongest arms in the game. Plus, they got a couple of his boys from Green Bay there with him, and Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb. So I put the Jets at 6. Number 5 is Buffalo. As our friend Hugh Douglas said back in the day, it's do or die. Do or die. Do or die for Buffalo. This is it for Sean McDermott. You've got to get this team over the hump. I don't think they can beat Cincinnati or Kansas City in a playoff situation, and it might cost McDermott his job, but the team is good enough. If Stephon Diggs keeps his head on straight, that team's good enough to go deep playoffs. Number 5 is Cincinnati for all the obvious reasons. Yep. Number 4 is Cincinnati. Number 3 is San Francisco for me. I don't care who's quarterback. After what I saw last year, I don't care who's quarterbacking for the 49ers. As long as they have one person under center the whole season, that team is too deep, too rugged on both sides of the football to fail. Mm-hmm. Kyle Shanahan showed all you need is a quarterback who can run the system, whatever the system is, we can flourish. And then obviously my number 2 and number 1 are the Eagles and Kansas City for obvious choices. So I went Kansas City 1, Eagles 2, San Fran 3, Cincinnati 4, Buffalo 5, Jets 6, Dallas 7.
Good list, man. Really good. I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit there, but good list.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we're not that far off with some of these. Your point about San Fran is well taken. There's so much talent there with them from a defensive standpoint and offense that if they even get okay quarterback play, yeah, I think they're trouble for sure. I think there's I struggle with the later ones like the Giants and the Ravens, and you make a good point with the Jets. Like,
Yeah.
I could easily plug the Jets in like 8-ish, anywhere 8, 9, 10 in that neighborhood. I don't know how much of an effect some of these tough divisions have on these teams, like the Eagles, like the Jets being in that tough AFC East. That's another thing that's going to be, keep your eye on, because we talked about it before. NFC East, AFC East, and if AFC North is really good. AFC West is a little bit underrated, I think. If Denver bounces back, you have them in Kansas City, and then the Chargers, and we'll see about the Raiders with Jimmy G. So that could be a tough one too. By far, the weakest is the North and the South and the NFC. But a team we never talk about at all, and they made the playoffs last year, is Seattle. We never talk about them in any real capacity in terms of being just a good team.
I think they're going to be a playoff team this year. They added in Jigba to a very good offense. They spent some money on defense, brought Bobby Wagner back. I think they're going to be pushing San Francisco for the division title, to be honest. When both of those teams are really good, it's really fun to watch both of them go at it, because they knock each other off every other game when they play. And I think it's going to be a real interesting battle between those two to win that division title. I can't believe I left the Giants, the Chargers, Denver, and New Orleans off that list. Derek Carr down in New Orleans now. New Orleans has everything they needed to win except the quarterback. Now they have a quarterback. I don't know if Derek Carr can take them any further than what they had before after Drew Brees. But Derek Carr is definitely an upgrade what they had. Mm-hmm. So I expect the Saints to be right there knocking off people as well. Denver, to me, is going to be an interesting team to watch in AFC under Sean Payton, and the reclamation project of getting Russell Wilson back to what he was before his first year in Denver. So it was some tough picks out there, man. A lot of teams you left off that I didn't think I would leave off a list.
There's two teams that I really foresee being playoff teams, or potentially being playoff teams, that we rarely put on these kind of lists. Denver's one of them, first and foremost. Secondly, I think Atlanta's going to be better than people think. Now, I feel better about Denver because you have an established quarterback than I do about Desmond Ridder, but I think Atlanta has put together a nice thing. I think Arthur Smith can coach. I do. I think he did a nice job with them last year. And Sean Payton didn't come back for nothing. He could have sat there with a nice cushy TV gig, chilling. Like, he's all in. And he's all in on getting Russell Wilson fixed, and you're already stepping in with a great defense too. So all the above are good reasons for that to happen. That's for sure. All right, let's get a timeout, and we will come back. Final segment of the program: Conor McGregor, Michael Jordan, birthdays, movies. It's all in store as we roll into that final segment. He's Derek Gunn. I am Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Razor technology, in specifically disaster recovery. The middle of an emergency is the wrong time to wonder who is in charge and how to respond. Restoring malfunctioning systems, rebooting complex servers, reconfiguring applications, bringing backups online, and reauthorizing users all takes time. And the longer it takes, the more damage that a business is exposed to. Razor Technology helps growing businesses develop a disaster recovery plan that protects all their essential data. Razor ensures all your critical systems are backed up, and that backups are regularly checked to ensure that they can be deployed at a moment's notice. Depend on Razor Technology, your trusted IT managed service provider, to save time and money on your IT and cloud services. Find out if your business is built to recover from a data disaster by calling Razor Technology today at 797-3282, 866-797-3282, or visit them online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV,